why is my relationship completely falling apart? That's something that goes super deep, like really deep. And it could be a lot of outside circumstances that are going on with you or your partner, for say your girlfriend, that may be out of your control or in your control, but trying to get to the point of why your relationship is fully falling apart. I mean, before I get into that, I want to say it's called Pleasant Park Hill, and this is a different part. This is like the middle of the park. It's called and Char, Fish and Char, something like that. And there's like two parts that are like water, two different parts that are water. If you see here, like right there, and then there's another side that has water on it as well. And I thought this view was kind of cool, so that's why I wanted to make the video. But going back into like why is your relationship falling apart? I mean, or if you're, even if you're going into a new relationship, I think it's really important to think back about the past. Thinking back about the past memories, past situations, the past arguments, the past good times, bad times, horrible times, amazing times. There's so many different parts I look at it as like a full movie. It's like a full movie that's like motion picture. That's like you got this part of the movie, but then you have the middle and the conclusion of the movie. Whether you can get past the conclusion to extend it out or don't extend it out, at the end of the day, it's really the same. Even if you like trying to save something, whether you could have or couldn't have, should you save this relationship or going to a new relationship? I mean, if looking at the statistical data of 50% of adults divorce their partner due to financial issues. So those financial issues could be little, they could be really big, or they could be massive. Those financial issues, not just financial issues, but it can go into much deeper stuff, as not even financially. It could just be that it's just not going to work out. Or maybe there's stuff that's missing. I really do think that there's parts of a relationship that are missing, like the communication or the schedule, like communication, schedule, finances, love, time to yourself. For say, like maybe there's parts of the day where you don't dedicate to her where she wants you to be. So, what do you do in that situation? Like me personally, I have no idea. But there's some things that you can take the first step on. For say, if you miss this day, why don't you reschedule it? Why don't you reschedule stuff that you miss? Like reschedule that movie date or that time, very special time together of walking in the park, or you know so many different things that you could experience, or going to the festival or going to the music festival, concerts. There's a part of me and a part of things of other people that they may be afraid to approach a situation. And I try not to be afraid of situations that I try to approach, because there's no point in me being scared or afraid to approach a situation, at the end of the day. That's just my leadership skills, or my skills in general as a person, that I got to look at and examine before I can even move forward with something else. Or you may be in constant arguments. What's causing the arguments? And sometimes, of what I've experienced or other people I've talked to, it could be 3 months in, it could be like 3 months in, it could be 6 months or a year, or maybe 10, 20 years. if all of it is arguments, that's something to look at, and maybe it's not. Maybe it's a lot of this stuff is on purpose or completely preventable. I have no idea. I don't know your situation, but there's some parts of like looking at the dynamic of the movie, like looking at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the, or maybe there isn't an end. Who says there's an end to the relationship? I have no idea, but that's just some stuff that you got to look at. You got to look, in within yourself to figure that out. I can't tell you. I can't tell you what you should do or shouldn't do. It's up to you to make the decision. At the end of the day. And if you aren't subscribed to my Patreon, subscribe to my Patreon for exclusive videos, as well as subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps me out. Just thinking like going, this brings back so many memories of my past relationship talking about this subject of things that I maybe did on purpose or didn't do intentionally on purpose, where I just needed time to rebuild and rebuild the tower. If you think about what's that Lego game, not that Lego game, that, what do you call it? The Jenga, I think it's called, where you put the pieces back together without really toppling the entire thing. And get this, at the end of the day, you can just rebuild the tower back up. So whether you rebuild the tower or don't rebuild the tower, that's completely up to you. You're playing the Jenga game of life, and sometimes life can be very confusing, or not just confusion, but hard to figure out. And them things that are hard to figure out really make you as a person, I think. Like, really internally, what makes me like me as a person is figuring that stuff out. Well, thanks for watching.